Tonight on Garbage Time Fantasy Football, we have a Dynasty Startup mock draft. And Drew Brees isn't worth talking about. It's time for Garbage Time. Welcome into Garbage Time Fantasy Football. I'm your host, Ron Seymour, joined today by Joe McCann. How you doing today, Joe?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
Pretty good. Like I said at the top, we have a Startup Dynasty mock draft. You got me, Joe. Ryan is going to be doing it, but he could not join the actual podcast today.
He's the ghost tonight. It's strange how it's still your face on it, though.
I know, it's weird. And it still says the ghost of Ron Seymour. That's weird. All right, so we'll roll with it. All right, so we are doing a mock draft. If you want to follow along with our mock draft, because we're not going to go over every single pick. It is a Dynasty mock draft. There is like 20-something rounds. Make sure you go over to YouTube at Garbage Time Fantasy Football. You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pandora now, finally, after like a year. Everywhere podcasts are found. You can also go to our website at www.garbagetimeff.com, where you can see everywhere that we are available. You can leave us reviews. You can leave us voicemails and comments or hate mails if that's what you want to do. Make sure you check out our Twitter at garbage_timeff.
Holy shit, you got it.
And then on Instagram at Garbage Time Fantasy Football.
So proud of you.
There we go.
All right, let's get into the news.
Let's get into the news of the day.
News updates.
News of the day. Well, this is kind of like news of the week because we're in the slow part of the offseason. So you said Drew Brees isn't worth talking about. How come?
Because he's not unretiring.
You just think he's pissed at NBC?
I think he's just not. He's not unretiring. It's not newsworthy. Not for a fantasy football podcast.
What about in Dynasty Leagues where you have 27 spots on your roster?
Not in fantasy football podcast. Nope.
Oh, you just are no fun tonight, aren't you?
No, I'm tons of fun. I just, I don't like talking about news that's not worth talking about. That's all.
He's going to be the one drafting 35-year-old quarterbacks tonight, just like his age.
Nope. And I'm 37. Get it right.
All right, Jarvis Landry did sign with the Saints, though. So this is a player that actually did sign with the Saints. What's his fantasy relevant going to be there with Chris Olave and Michael Thomas on that team?
This team went from really interesting to really scary when it comes to which wide receiver you want to draft. You got Michael Thomas, who is clearly the best wide receiver out of the group, right? I don't think anyone would argue that. He was probably the best one. But he hasn't played in like a year and a half or something like that. So where's he at? Jarvis Landry has always been solid, but he's new to the team. How's he going to gel with Jameis Winston? Then you got the rookie Chris Olave, and, he's a rookie. So it's like, who do you want to take your shot on?
I would probably do it with Michael Thomas, and I brought this up in a YouTube short that I did for our channel too. I see him as the true number one wide receiver on this team. There's no doubt that the talent's there. He's been injured. He's had a little bit of a weird spot with the team too, where he got surgery late in the last offseason. Didn't end up playing for the team last year too, but I think he's going to be refreshed, ready to play for that team. And as we've seen before, he was a target hog in that offense. Landry's more of that slot guy. I think you'll see him play that role, and they'll look to have Chris Olave take over the top. So I think there'll be a little bit of value there for each of them. Thomas being that high-end wide receiver 2 for you with the number 1 upside. You'll see Landry with probably low-end wide receiver 2 upside. And Chris Olave will be a 3 with 2 upside.
Yeah, that's probably the order I would put them into.
Yeah. Do these wide receivers affect the game of Alvin Kamara at all, though?
I actually do think Jarvis Landry could. Jarvis Landry out of the slot is going to probably take away some targets from Alvin Kamara. Um, honestly, I'm leaning towards being out on Kamara this year.
Okay.
Impending possible suspension. Jarvis
Maybe.
Landry, right? I said possible. Jarvis Landry going there. The weapons are solid now outside of just him. And not only that, but Jameis Winston isn't the type of person to dunk the ball down. When it was Drew Brees, Kamara had over 80 catches every year.
Right.
Last year, I don't remember what it was, the splits when Jameis was in there, but Kamara only had like 60 something all year. And I'm going to look into it. I want to know how many he had when Jameis was the quarterback, because Jameis just doesn't dunk the ball down like that.
No, he tends to take those throws on the field, which is why he's playing more in the style of, as JJ would put it, a Brett Favre kind of quarterback, just with way more picks even, which is quite impressive. Dalvin Cook is lining up a wide receiver in OTAs. This isn't just experimenting with him. Is he just going to get his regular role this year with the Vikings?
Yeah, I don't think it's anything super crazy. I mean, he might line up at a slot wide receiver from here and there, but I mean, they got Thielen, they got Jefferson. This is probably more of just a few packages type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And as we promised here, guys, actually there's one more story too. Deshaun Watson is also meeting with the NFL. Josina Anderson is reporting that inside sources do not believe he's going to get suspended this year. Well, all the Twitterverse is going crazy saying he's going to be suspended multiple games. Does anybody know what's going to happen with him yet? Or is this just summation for both sides?
I think it's just, everybody's trying to pull the nugget out and be the first one, and nobody really knows yet.
Okay.
I still think he's going to get at least a couple game suspension.
If he doesn't, though, do you see him as a top 5 potential quarterback in all formats this year?
Yes.
Yeah, that'll definitely be.
I know he missed a year, but I still think he'll come back strong and might take a game or two to shake off some rust. But I think he's going to be real good.
Okay, and here on Garbage Time Fantasy Football, guys, we always promise that if you comment on the show or say something back to us, we'll bring it up live on the show. So I want to give credit where credit is due to someone that commented one of our videos, specifically on a video that Ron will find interesting too if he actually ended up watching it. I doubt he did. So the video I'm talking about is 3 sleepers that we could see going into this offseason for fantasy football. Those 3 would not be consensus top 10. And in those 3, I listed Saquon Barkley, J.K. Dobbins, and David Montgomery. What are your thoughts on those running backs going into this season, Ron?
I really like Dobbins.
Okay.
I think he's had over a whole year to rehab from his ACL. I think he'll be fine. The Ravens didn't really do anything via free agency or the draft that really scares me about his role. They did bring in a running back, but I don't think it was anyone super big. Montgomery will probably be the same Montgomery he always is.
The running back out of that roster was Mike Davis, too, and they still have Gus Edwards there.
Yeah, so I think J.K. Dobbins' role is still pretty safe. I think he'll still be fine in a heavy run offense. David Montgomery, I think he'll be what he always been, high end 2, low end running back 1. Barkley is the real wild card here because this Giants offense with the new coach and Dable, I think it's going to be one of 2 things. You're going to see an offense that shows a lot of promise and, shows what they can be in the future, or you're going to see it fall completely on its face like it did after Daniel Jones got injured last year.
Right.
So it all depends on that. We bolstered our offensive line with getting Evan Neal in the first round, and also they picked up a bunch of auxiliary pieces for the line to have a good battle and find the best people. So we'll see what happens. Usage and everything. The the value you're getting for Saquon right now is phenomenal. I think it's something like you're getting him in the 3rd round, and he could finish a top 10 running back. He still has that ability.
Right. And like we said here, we like to bring the heckling fandom into the show too. And there's someone that's been very interactive with our channel this week. This heckling fandom member is named Wooded Basher. And on this video, he said it's just precedent to how Saquon is considered a sleeper. It just shows how far he's fallen. So he would agree with us in this sentiment that Evan Neal improving that offensive line makes him worth the value potentially, and he's coming off the 2nd year of his injury. On top of that, too, he thinks that David Montgomery has the most upside out of all of these potential sleepers for the reason that he's going to get the most usage. So, again, Wooded Basher, we just want to say thanks for interacting with the show and hope to hear a lot more back from you. Ron, do you have any thoughts on any of these comments from Wooded Basher?
I just appreciate them. Make sure you come back and, keep commenting. We love it, man.
And he'd also like to see that there is future risk with CMC and Derrick Henry to a smaller extent, which is what we saw last year. And Garbage Time Fantasy Football agrees with you in this sentiment. All right, moving on to the next topic of tonight. Mr. Ron Seymour sent me a trade tonight that I said I would not answer until we got to the show tonight. So, Ron, you offered me a 2022 2nd-round Dynasty pick and a 2023 2nd-round Dynasty pick for Ezekiel Elliott. So, why don't you tell me what I should do with this trade?
You should tell me that that's too much and you'll just take the 205 this year and that'll be fine.
Oh, yeah? Is that it?
I mean, that's what I would like. I figured, well, here, let me break it down how I saw it. Is Ezekiel Elliott fell off towards the end of last year. He's going to be turning 27 years old this year. Tony Pollard's there, rumors about all this, all that. There's a lot of different question marks for Ezekiel Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
But he does still have a good upside. So I didn't think a 2nd-round pick was enough. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think just the one. So I figured, 2nd-round pick this year, 2nd-round pick next year. I think that's a pretty fair deal, seeing how he could literally, really fall off and be a low-end RB2, I think would be his floor this year. And, it's a risk I kind of have to take because I'm struggling at running back in my Dynasty League.
Okay, and you sent this offer out, and I do appreciate the offer. I did trade a 1st-round pick for Ezekiel Elliott in a package trade this year. And I just don't necessarily like the running back positions of this year's rookie class to begin with, which is why I kind of traded for him in the first place. I'd have to see how it would kind of shake out to even really consider us. There is 1 or 2 sleepers that I like potentially at the 2nd round. But for where I am at too, I've got 2 decent starting running backs. And in a dynasty format, they're both mid-aged. I could probably move on from him, but I'm not picking at the 101, and I'm not going to get Brees Hall. So in another year, I might consider this. But for now, it just doesn't make any sense for me because, unfortunately, he is my insurance. And he's not insurance I necessarily love.
Oh, look. Joe rejected a trade.
Yeah, funny how that happens. So try again, Ron, but that just isn't going to work for now.
No, that was my max. I didn't even do the thing where I would lowball you first. Like, I'm like, all right, this is exactly what I think it's worth. And from what you're saying, it sounds like, yes, that would be the price, but you just can't do it because of your team build right now.
The way my team is built, and I will say the chaos of the running back position in this rookie class, it's not warranted for me to be able to trade him unless I was getting Brees Hall number 1. It's the only running back I'm perfectly confident in this year. The rest of them are going to be riding below my top 2. So it just isn't appropriate for me to do that at this time. So I'm not shitting on your trade. It was okay. It was okay value. I could do it in the right circumstance, but just not this year.
All right, are we starting this draft now?
I think we're ready to start this draft.
All right, we'll bring this up. I'll shoot Ryan a message real quick, letting him know starting.
So we're not sitting here for an hour while he's on the shitter.
Yeah, he can draft while he's on the shitter. It's fine.
We'll see if he does.
We'll see. I didn't put a timer, so.
Oh, we're going to get all the nice sound effects too, huh?
Did
Where
I,
it's going
did
to
I
go,
mess up?
wow.
Why didn't this start up?
Because Team 1's on the clock. Did you not set it as a computer?
I don't know. I thought I did.
Yeah, we'll give him a second here. He's got to cue it up, Heckling fandom. This just isn't appropriate for how unprepared Ron Seymour is right now. And the shame he's feeling.
I did it the way I always do it. I don't understand why I'm confused now.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, here we go. Let computer auto pick.
There you go.
I got to do this a few times. There we go. All right.
So Team 1 has gone with Jamar Chase, which is a good pick in Dynasty. Obviously, with the age.
This is super flex, so.
Yeah.
I'm actually shocked that it was not a quarterback.
You can't hate on Jamar Chase being picked at the 101, though. I mean, with the age, how he took off last year. Najee Harris was also picked here at the number 2. Ryan goes with Jonathan Taylor, even in a super flex format. So 3 big names off the board early. Still no quarterback, so. Justin Jefferson at 4. Here's a surprise. This is a team wanting to win now. Christian McCaffrey at 5. Javonte Williams at 6, and that leaves me on the clock. So in a super flex format, I am going to take Justin Herbert for the simple reason that there's a lot of weapons there. And I think he's a good value at the young age that he's at with the Chargers.
All right, and here I am at the 110. We only did 10 teams, so this is my back-to-back pick here. And, yeah, super flex. I'm going to do it.
Josh Allen?
Wow.
Josh Allen, and you know what? There we go.
Wow.
Damn. On the turnaround, the computers are not drafting well tonight, are they? He gets Patrick Mahomes on the turnaround, and the picks before him were DeAndre Hopkins and Cooper Kupp. Team's also looking to win right now. Well, the Kupp one. Off the board, Derrick Henry. So I think next I am going to look to continue filling my quarterback position here with a quarterback who really helped you win your leagues at the end of last year, who didn't have over 30 points in regular formats until the playoffs last year in fantasy, Joe Burrow.
Yeah, that's a decent pick.
So Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow in this dynasty format, followed up by Dalvin Cook, by Team 6, Devontae Adams, Joe Mixon, and Ryan's back on the clock. So we have about 5 minutes. Is there anyone you want to talk about before he makes his pick?
No, I'm currently trying to fix this so it actually auto picks. I'm not sure why it's not doing it.
It's because Ryan's picking right now.
No. It's not doing it like I've had to do every single one. But I'm just not sure why it's doing that. I've never had this issue before. Just let me know when Ryan picks so I can
get back on it.
Yeah. I wish you were. There he goes. Oh, he went Brees Hall? That's early.
Wow.
I think that's a bit early.
Not a bad move, considering it is Dynasty, though. He's really high on him in this spot. That's interesting, Ryan. How do you feel about Brees Hall that early?
I don't like Brees Hall that early. I'm not a fan. I just the Jets' offense is, to be determined if it's actually going to be good. I mean, they have all the things in place to where it should be, right? Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's yet to be proven if it's going to be. So, just seems like kind of early for me, I would say.
Okay. Those picks were followed up by CeeDee Lamb, who is still deceptively young, Deebo Samuel, who I believe is in his mid-20s, Kyle Pitts, who is getting a lot of hype this year because of a shitty Atlanta offense with not a lot of weapons. They just brought in another wide receiver. And then Stephon Diggs, who is close to 30 years old. Team 2 seems to want to be going for it right now.
I think I got it.
And Ryan is back.
Picks.
Yeah, and Ryan is back on the clock.
Oh, it says his time's up.
Or the ghost of Ryan Warner. He's got 3 minutes. His time is not up.
It says time's up on the screen. Look at it.
It's funny. It doesn't say that on my phone.
It doesn't say it on my phone either.
Damn web browser. I'm sure he'll get his pick in. Who would you take in this spot for him?
I don't even know who's available. I'm just now getting probably a quarterback. He's got 2 running backs. I would probably take a quarterback right here. If I'm looking at the queue, it's got Kamara. There we go. You went. A.J. Brown, not horrible. Nick Chubb, Kamara, Tyreek Hill, and you're on the clock. So me and you went with the same strategy. We both went QB in this super flex.
So this is interesting because this kind of leaves me with a little bit of a dilemma because there's a lot of players, and I've already picked my 2 quarterbacks. So I've got to kind of decide which direction I'm going to go here, which is a young wide receiver or a running back that could potentially help me out in this spot. Well, in Dynasty Leagues, I believe the wide receivers are a little bit more important because they last a little bit longer. So I think I'm going to go this direction. And I'm going to draft T. Higgins in this spot because he's young. He's in a dynamic offense, and I think he'd be a good pick here. Waddle would have also been a decent pick here. He's also very young, and both these guys can help you perform this year, but you're getting many years out of them, I believe.
Yeah, I am. I'm not feeling the running backs at the spot, so I think I've been the same thing with you. Wide receivers, they last longer. I am going to take Jalen Waddle here. And my next pick, I know. Let's see, what do I want to do? I know his quarterback situation isn't the best, but he's a beast, and he's still young. They could upgrade the quarterback position next year. I'm taking DK Metcalf. So right now my team is Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Waddle, and DK Metcalf. And you're on the clock.
So that sticks me on the clock again here, and I've got a lot of decent options, and I've got to decide if I want to win now or go later. And I think with these quarterbacks here and with the way this team is built, I'm going to try to win now. So with this pick, I think I'm going to select Saquon Barkley, just based on the age and the offensive line being productive.
Yeah, fourth round, not bad at all. Ken Walker, the other projected top rookie pick for Dynasty, just went at 4 or team 4. So 4th round, it was the 4-7. Ryan's back on the clock. Hopefully he doesn't waste time.
Let's see if he gets on the rookie train here. So has anything surprised you up to this point while Ryan's making his pick?
Still one of the big ones was
Brees Hall.
Brees Hall in the 2nd round. That was wild to me. Some of these quarterbacks waiting, like Kyler in the 5th round, that seems really late. I even double checked and made sure I did super flex. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Besides me and you, there's only one other quarterback off the board. Like,
these damn computers don't know what they're doing.
I'm glad we're doing this because I'm actually in another. I just joined another Dynasty League, and we'll have a startup draft soon. So
you'll have to let the Heckling fandom know how that goes. In between those spots went Cam Akers, who is still a little bit concerning just because of the injury to me. I understand he played well, but he could re-injury, so I don't know if I would want him in Dynasty this early. Redraft, yes. Aaron Jones splits backfield, help with Green Bay, so a little bit iffy on that one. DJ Moore is a good weapon, just a shitty quarterback situation currently. And Kyler Murray going in the 5th round is an absolute steal at this point. So now let's see what Ryan does, who still hasn't taken a quarterback. He must be going with the younger guys later in this draft. If you had to guess, where do you think he's going to go? Quarterback, hopefully?
Soon, yeah, hopefully, yeah. He took a tight end, which I like that. I'm surprised they got Drake. They got a lot of rookies way up top here above some more proven people, which is wild to me, but he's all right at running back. He's got 2 young options. I don't think Brees Hall is going to be a stud this year. I hope he picks someone soon because he's wasting our time.
He wanted to get in the draft, man, and this is how long it would have taken him.
There he goes, finally. All right, he take Lamar Jackson, yeah, then Traylon Burks, Leonard Fournette, David Montgomery, you're on the clock.
All right, so here with this spot too, you said it was a little early to take him, but he's going to get a lot of volume there with Atlanta. Very young, and there's not much else there. So I'm going to take Drake London in this spot.
All right. Now, I desperately need to get some running backs on my team here. Doesn't have to be anything super crazy, but I'm gonna go with Zeke, who may not have much time left, but he could help me win this year. And I'm gonna skip Josh Jacobs, and I'm gonna go with James Conner for Arizona. He's gonna get nearly all the work in that offense.
Do you believe he's going to be a top 10 this year?
Yes, I do. I haven't finished my projections, but I'm pretty sure they're going to get him into the top 10 when I get him done.
It's interesting that you took him there in that spot because I think there's someone that is even younger and he's got thighs like tree trunks and eventually he's going to work himself out of a two-person backfield. And I think that's A.J. Dillon.
I do like A.J. Dillon also.
So in a dynasty spot, especially at this point where I needed to get that second running back, I think A.J. Dillon is perfect for this team.
Yeah, I like A.J. Dillon. I almost went A.J. Dillon, but I know James Conner's pretty much alone in his backfield.
And A.J. Dillon may get more work because they may look to get his partner there in that backfield a lot more passes because the wide receiver position is a little shaky now with the Green Bay Packers. And this was followed up by Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller, and Garrett Wilson as the next rookie wide receiver to go. Did it surprise you when he came off the board this late?
Garrett Wilson?
Yes.
No, I think this is, like I said with Breece Hall, like you don't know about that offense yet. Everyone's projecting it to be, prolific, but it all hinges on Zach Wilson taking a second-year leap, and it's a gamble. Garrett Wilson's a very good talent, but you're taking the gamble of will he be able to support a fantasy stud? Will he be able to support maybe two guys? It's kind of we'll have to see what happens.
Next off the board is Jerry Jeudy, who I think would have been a better pick in that spot. Chris Olave, Devontae Smith, which is an interesting dilemma now that the Eagles are there. Keenan Allen, who is approaching 30. So this is more for a team that wants to win now. TJ Hawkinson, who I think is kind of going under the radar at the tight end position and is still very young. And that puts Ryan back on the clock. Thoughts on any of those?
Man, Team 1 is loading up on wide receivers.
They have 5 now.
Yeah. Only one running back. They got Kyle Pitts, but.
So what would you do in Ryan's spot right here? He still only has one quarterback.
Well, it looks like.
And there it is, his second quarterback.
Prescott, yep. That's not bad. Marquise Hollywood Brown. I was kind of hoping he'd come back to me. Amari Cooper, Christian Watson. It's up to you.
So now I got to start seeing where the value really falls. And interestingly enough, there's not a lot of players at positions that I feel very comfortable taking at their current ages at the running back spot. I think I would let them fall on the board a little bit more. So I'm going to take Elijah Moore here in this spot. He could potentially be the number 1 wide receiver for the Jets. I love his age. If you're taking him in this spot, I'm just hoping that he would beat out Garrett Wilson for that number 1 spot. But he's got the experience with Zach Wilson, a foot on top of him. And honestly, I could see them both being productive in this league, and you got to love the age.
Yeah. All right. Now I am looking at the players here, and, some of the top running back guys. I don't know. Wide receivers is something I could still use.
Yeah, you could use a few of those.
You know what? I am going to take I'm going to take Jameson Williams here. That's more of a down-the-road type pick. And I'm also going to take... I need someone that I can trust right now. You know what? I'm going to pair another rookie here. I'm going to pair Sky Moore with my Pat Mahomes pick. And hope that maybe...
So you honestly believe you could trust him there in that spot?
Sky Moore?
Yes.
Yes. I think Andy Reid is going to find a way to get him involved, and I'm not a big fan of Hardman.
Juju's still there.
Juju's going to be like a slot guy. Sky Moore, he's young. He's on a prolific offense, and I have the quarterback. If I didn't have the quarterback, I may have pivoted somewhere different, but I think he's going to be really good. And as for my wide receiver 4, really, 3 or 4, it's fine with me.
Not a bad option there. After that went Jalen Hurts, who could have a good fantasy year based on his wide receiving core now, but he has to elevate his game. James Cook, who is a very controversial rookie among many dynasty players, one of the most talked about, I think, this year. So it's going to be interesting to see if he falls into the committee with the Bills or actually takes a prominent role. I also want to dip into the younger part of this pool again, have a player I could have for a lot longer. And in Baltimore, this guy just became the number 1 wide receiver based on Hollywood Brown being traded. So I think Rashad Bateman would be a good pick here. I'm going to pair another second-year wide receiver with Elijah Moore right under him, and that gives me my 4th wide receiver here in this spot. Next up is Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is ranked actually in the Fantasy Footballers top 20, which is kind of interesting. Michael Thomas is banked on by Team 5 to come back and hopefully help that team out as their number 1 wide receiver, although there's a lot of competition now, as we've already stated. And then Darnell Mooney, the number 1 wide receiver for the Chicago Bears. And that puts Ryan back on the clock.
Yeah, come on, Ryan.
He could also use another wide receiver here, too. He could go running back.
Yeah, he could pretty much go anywhere. If I had to take a guess, I'm going to say he's taken... Oh, I'm under the wrong thing here. He could go to Deshaun Watson.
That could be a very good pick.
Miles Sanders. We know how he feels about, certain players.
Trey Lance is still there. I think that could potentially be a good pick this late in the draft.
I mean, there's still some good players out there.
I think you should really look at running back or wide receiver here in this spot, though.
Yeah, there's not a lot of running back that I like at the value. You know what I mean? There's other ones I like, but... There's one guy I'm curious to see where he goes because I want to see kind of how he's being viewed for my startup because I kind of want him.
Yeah, well, I'm probably going to take him before you get there.
You don't even know who it is.
Yeah, we'll see.
Come on, Ryan. We'd probably be like halfway through this fucking draft if it wasn't for him.
He's ghosting his pick just like you would ghost a podcast.
I know it. I'm here, though. I'm just saying.
He's totally trolling us, taking the full 3 minutes to make the pick.
I know it.
You think he's going to get auto-picked right here?
He might. He's only got 55 seconds.
He must have a baby in his hand.
I don't know why he would choose to do this if he wasn't going to do it. I mean, just stay on your phone and watch. We're going.
I love that you're bitching at him right now.
I'm about to bitch on him on the thing.
He's totally waiting the 3 minutes just on purpose. Yes, heckling fandom. Ryan Warner can be a dick sometimes, too.
Oh, look, he finally went. All right, there's Deshaun Watson at the 8-9. That's interesting. Damian Harris at the 9-2 from the running back for the Patriots. And weird, Ryan's on the clock again.
Yeah, and he picked Mike Williams in the last round, so it took him quite a while. He didn't exactly know where he wanted to go, went up to the last second, made his pick. Next goes Pat Freiermuth, who is a good value there. DeAndre Hopkins, Trey Lance, who I think could be a beast this year. I thought he could be one as a rookie, and he was not. A little thin at the running back position here, so I think I'm going to try to fill out that position a little bit more. And I'm going to go with Pierce here. because
It's a
I
good
think he could potentially be the starter for Houston. He's very young, so I'm gonna throw the dart there and see what I get out of him.
All right, I do need some more running backs on my team. I'm at the 9-10 here. I will take Miles Sanders. I'm not super in love with him, but he will be the starter for that team. And then it loops back around to me. I don't really want to reach on that guy, so I think I'll just wait. And if he doesn't fall back to me, he doesn't fall back to me. I will take Cortland Sutton here. I do believe that he is going to be the number one wide receiver for Russell Wilson. I don't know if that's just homerism because I have him on my actual dynasty team, but I just think that's where he's going to go. Either if he's not the number one and he's the number two, he's still going to be fantasy relevant.
Right. Next one, Brandon Ayuk, who I was big on last year. I promise you I will not be big on him this year. Next is Chase Claypool, who I think could be supplanted by a rookie that's probably going to be taken soon, but I'm not going to go with that rookie. I'm going to go with Mr. 4 touchdown himself in the playoff, Gabriel Davis, just based on potential, his age of being in the Bills offense. So I think that could be potentially a good pick for my dynasty team in this spot.
A couple more tight ends went off here. Dallas Goedert at the 9-6, Dalton Schultz at the 10-7. Like I said, if you want to follow along with us, we're not going to read off every pick. Make sure you go to YouTube, Garbage Time Fantasy Football. Like and subscribe. You can watch us over there as we roll through this Dynasty Startup mock draft. We're at the 10-8, and Ryan Warner is on the clock.
And we'll see where the hell this goes.
Right to hell.
So, what are your thoughts on specifically Damian Pierce, who I think is being looked at as potentially being sneaky in a lot of dynasty drafts?
I like Damian Pierce. My only concern is I don't know, like, next year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think this year he's going to be really good, but it's one of those things like he could easily be replaced next year. They didn't spend a high draft pick on him. They could very easily spend on a different running back next year if they needed to or wanted to.
Next off the board is Michael Carter, Brandon Cooks, and Ryan is on the clock again.
And another tight end, Dawson Knox. I'm not going to lie, before my last two picks, I was really hoping Freiermuth made it back to me. Note to self, probably around 8th round is when you should take him if that's who you're looking for.
Up to this point, I have kind of punted the tight end position.
Yeah, me too.
Which is a legitimate strategy in fantasy football drafts because sometimes after the top 4 or 5 guys, it really just doesn't matter who you have.
I'm still kind of shocked. I don't know if it's because, obviously we're playing with a bunch of computers. But the quarterbacks didn't come off the board quite as fast as I was expecting. I may have played it a little bit differently had I known that, they were going to wait.
Yeah, just stress this in Superflex League, guys. The quarterbacks are by far the most important position. The league is played around quarterbacks, and if you got 2 of them in your league, it's going to be tough to get more than even just one, especially in the top spot. So take your quarterbacks early.
Like, to get Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes at the 1-2 turn seems
disgusting,
ridiculous in a super flex league. 2 of the top quarterbacks in the league, both are still pretty young. Like, they should be gone.
But they're not. Ryan's sitting there laughing his ass off, taking up the whole 3 minutes per pick.
He's saying like it's not showing up that it's his pick.
Oh, it's his pick. That's some funny shit.
This guy.
He's got a beer in his hand and he's waiting until 1 second's left.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Cordell Patterson going into this year?
I just told him to pick and he said it's not to me. It is though.
He's going to get picked over, autoed. Tell him don't worry. The computer will get it for him in 30 seconds.
Yeah, he's still showing Hunter Renfrow. Like,
All right, so
he's
he
got
went
to
with
reset more.
He went with George Pickens in that spot, which I think is pretty good. Next off the board is Tom Brady in Superflex format. Allen Robinson, Mike Gesicki. So I am now up to pick. And
Allen Robinson at the 11.5 is great value.
yeah. I've got two quarterbacks here, and I need to pick someone that could potentially have value down the road here. So I'm going to go with a starter. I'm going to go with Justin Fields here as my third quarterback. I think that's pretty good value. He is obviously what the Bears are looking for in the future, and he has that running ability. Next up, Chase Edmonds and Adam Thielen. So Ron is back on the clock.
All right, so one of the guys I like is coming back to me. He's third on the list for running back right now. People above him are James Robinson, who tore his Achilles and has Travis Etienne there. I think James Robinson is just about done in fantasy football. Devin Singletary, who showed out end of last year, but I do think what?
Really, Robinson's done for fantasy football?
He tore his Achilles.
Oh, my God. Yeah, and that's been so career-ending the last few years for all these guys like Cam Akers. Chill out. He's not even 24
like
years.
Crap in the playoffs.
He's not even 24 years old yet. He's going to be fine.
James Robinson is about done for fantasy football.
People have doubted him for the last 3 years, and he's come back and had fantastic years back to back. Watch it.
He didn't tear his Achilles. That is almost a death note for running backs. It took Dante Foreman 4 years to come back from a torn Achilles.
He'll be fine. So get your value and draft him in this spot.
So wait, you think he's going to be fantasy relevant this year?
Later in the season, yes.
Do you think he's going to finish a top 20 back?
No. He's not going to come back till the second half of the year, but he'll be relevant.
No, he won't. I'm going to take Isaiah Spiller.
You want to say that name again?
Isaiah Spiller. Thank you for the second chance on that one. I will also take another rookie, I think.
Don't do it. Don't do it, asshole.
Well, now I kind of want to do it. I wish I knew what it was. Trying to know if I want to, I just don't know. No, I'm going to go ahead and keep wavering until I can figure out exactly what I'm going to do.
Great advice for the heckling fan.
Hey, come back here. I'm going to take Trey McBride.
You son of a bitch. Now I'm going to have to pivot. Devin Singletary comes off the board, and James Robinson, who is also young. I really want to Trey McBride in this spot. Now I'm not going to get him. So I'm going to continue to punt on the tight end position, I believe. So who do I want to take here? Not a big fan. I guess I could beef up the running back position, considering I still only have a few. I've got 3. I don't necessarily like a lot of the ones in this spot. I am not a fan of Hoyt at all. And this is what Sleeper says I should pick here. I just don't believe he's going to see the field there with Fournette in front of him. I'm going to go down a little bit farther and go with Tyler Algiere, rookie who could get some work there in Atlanta. I think he's a pretty good pick here.
Yeah, I thought about that. I just didn't. I wasn't sure if I wanted to pull the trigger on him yet. I don't know how great he's going to be,
As soon as I pick him, Rachaad White goes off the board, me talking shit about him. Next goes Jahan Dotson, who I don't like with the Commanders, and Noah Fant, who could, I guess, be relevant with Drew Lock there, should he be the starter, but who knows if he's even the starter. Gino might beat him out for the job. He's hard to really pick up.
I still think Gino does beat him out for the job.
What do you think Noah Fant does this year? You think anything impressive?
I don't know. I mean, Drew Lock didn't really make Noah Fant all that impressive in Denver. I don't know why Seattle would be any different. But maybe, like I said, I do believe Gino wins that job.
Okay. Next is Cadarius Tony, who I think is a good value that late in the draft, especially considering how young he is. Who knows if he even plays for the Giants in the next few years? They may trade him for all we know. Christian Kirk, the expensive-ass wide receiver, Trevor Lawrence, Ramondre Stevenson, Rashad Penny, and John Mechie. So in this spot here, I think I'm going to take someone that's young, has a little bit of upside, and could be playing with Deshaun Watson most of the year. I'm going to go with David Njoku because I've punted on that spot long enough. Next off the bell is, funny enough, the wide receiver that he's also going to be playing with Deshaun Watson, David Bell.
I thought
Derek
that's who you
Carr.
were talking about. I kind of wanted David Bell to get back to me here, but he didn't. Right here, I am going to take Ronald Jones. A little bit of a risky pick, but I think he has a chance of taking over that backfield. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has not really been that great,
Mm-hmm.
in recent years. And Ronald Jones was always good, had some fumbling issues, and then would get pulled off the field. So he might have a chance to rejuvenate his career here.
Okay.
Let's see. Where do I want to go from here? I got 5 running backs. It says I only got 3 wide receivers? That doesn't make sense. Oh, no, I got 5. Okay. Let's see. Who am I going to take? It's getting a little hairy out there, kids.
Not that bad yet.
Not bad, but a little hairy. You know what? I am going to take the chance on Robert Woods, a little older, but there's a vacancy in Tennessee for targets.
Zach Ertz comes off the board. Kelvin Ridley. Zach Ertz is more of the tight end you want to play if you're looking to win right away. He's a little bit older, and Trey McBride is there to eventually replace him. But they did just re-sign him, so we'll see. Ridley did come off the board, but he's suspended for the year. This is more looking down the road for him. In this spot, I think I'm going to go with Cole Comet for the reason that I punted on the tight end position. But he's young. Could get a lot of targets there, especially this year. So back-to-back, I've taken 2 tight ends now. Zach Wilson finally comes out the board, and I think that's a great value this late in the draft. Melvin Gordon, Zamir White, who could potentially be the starter for the Raiders into the future. Next, Alex Pierce, a rookie wide receiver for Indianapolis, comes off in the 14-8. So who knows what he does for Indianapolis this year, but could be good for you next year and could be good value for you. Hunter Henry comes off the board. Tua Tagovailoa, who gets the weapon Tyreek Hill, but still can't throw more than 25 yards down the field. Chuba Hubbard comes off the board. Khalil Herbert, and we are back to Ryan to wait another 2.5 minutes.
He's getting better.
With you walking away, do you like anything that you've seen come off the board since these picks?
There's a lot of Pierce there that Ryan picked with his last pick. Could be really good in Indy with Matt Ryan out opposite of Michael Pittman Jr. I was kind of hoping Tua would come back. If he came back to me at my next turn, I would probably have taken Tua there just because he's young.
Mm-hmm.
And, I took quarterback first 2 rounds, and we're in round 15 now. So, taking another quarterback here wouldn't, kill my team or anything.
No, I think getting Rondale Moore in the 15th round is an excellent value, too, considering the upside that we saw from him last year, even though Ron Seymour claims that Rondale Moore had no upside. I think JJ would agree with me. That's a good pick in that spot. Next comes off the board, Mac Jones and Alan Lazard. Which Mac Jones, this late in the draft, I think is a good pick.
Yes, it is. Alan Lazard, too. I'm going to take Darrell Henderson here because Cam Akers tore his Achilles. He had a great recovery time, but when he came back, he didn't look good. He was averaging something like 2.8 yards per carry in the playoffs. He didn't look like he was fully back, and he might not be fully back. So I'm going to take Darrell Henderson because, he's already shown that he can handle he's good when he gets the work. So I'm going to take that shot, and maybe he, is good. Or he is good. Maybe he gets the chance, I guess. I'm going to go down the board a little bit here. It might be a little bit of a reach, but I'm going to take T. Davis Price, San Francisco running back they just drafted, just because, you want one of them on your team. Because it could be him this year. Elijah Mitchell could just go away.
All right, like I said, I punted at the tight end position here, but there's someone who's probably going to come back and play with Tom Brady and can help me with actually, it's Ryan's pick, so I'm not going to talk about that.
No, it's not. It's your pick.
It's Ryan's pick, isn't it? Oh, it is my pick, so I can talk about this. It's funny. It shows right on the screen that we haven't even got up to me, but it's on to Ryan. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Rob Gronkowski with this pick because he's going to come out of retirement and give me good value, and I can see what these other two guys do.
Yeah, it froze up on us there.
Yeah, that's funny how it goes. After Rob Gronkowski goes, Jacoby Myers, Malik Willis is a rookie, which could be used in a few years. Keontae Ingram, Naheem Hines, Kenneth Gainwell, Chris Carson, who has a broken neck, so that is a stupid pick. McCole Hardman, who is a good pick in the 17th round, especially considering he plays with Patrick Mahomes. LaVisca Chenault, Hassan Haskins, who is the backup to the Sasquatch himself. Jalen Tolbert, DJ Chark, and Jelani Woods, who I think could get work with the Indianapolis Colts. So with that, I am back up on the clock here. I could go absolutely anywhere now. We are in the 17th round, so you are just throwing darts at the board to see what you can get. So at this pick, I believe I'm going to select we're going to go with Van Jefferson based on the age. He plays with the Rams. And Odell Beckham is currently not back there, so I think he's a decent value here. Next off the board is Odell Beckham, Kenny Galladay, which has really fallen down the board for the Giants. Do you think he does anything for the Giants this year?
I think he definitely does more than he did last year. I don't know if it's going to be anything super spectacular, but I definitely think he should definitely finish like wide receiver 3 this year. Okay, my next two picks are, I believe, pretty much laid right out for me. I'm just scrolling a little bit to see if there's anything that catches my eye. Nope, I am going to go with it. I like Russell Gage. He's going to be playing with Tom Brady this year. Chris Godwin's going to miss at least end of October probably. And I think Russell Gage could eat in this offense while he's out. And I'm going to take the shot on Jarvis Landry. I mean, he's always been a decent fantasy option. I mean, Jameis Winston can get it done for wide receivers at least. So it's a good shot for my, 9th or 10th wide receiver.
In this spot right here, I'm going to go with someone that could get starting time in a team I don't foresee. Actually, they might. This is a hard one. I want to take one of the rookie quarterbacks in this spot. I could see both of them getting work between Ritter and what's that?
And Coral.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Corral just for the reason that he's got better weapons this year and could prove to be the starting quarterback there. So I'm going to go with Matt Corral in that spot. Take my dart throw.
Oh, man, Ryan put himself on auto.
Next up, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Tyler Higbee, Trey.
Oh, you're back on the clock. We ain't got time for all that.
J.D. McKissick, Romeo Doubs, Devontae Parker, Miles Gaston, Saquon Thornton, Patriots player, Kyron Thornton, Gus Edwards, Curtis Samuel, Evan Ingram, and I did have time for that. How do you like that shit? I'm going to go with someone that could start this year at the running back position. I'm going to go with Marlon Mack, the other Houston running back. So I will get a starter out of that backfield.
And then Desmond Ritter went, Robert Tonyan, and I am on the clock. Whoops.
What do you got for us?
Well, I was thinking about taking another quarterback, but I don't really like what's there, so I'm not going to do that. Switch it to running back and see if there's anything there. I'm not super happy with what I see. Wide receiver, okay. Some different things we could do here.
Well, there's some things you could do there, but nothing that's just really over-the-top exciting.
Things you can do here. And I don't think there's anything for tight end I really want. You know what? I will take the flyer on Greg Dulcich there, tight end for Denver. We'll see what he does. I'm all right with that pick. I like that. And then I will go with, man, these are shots right here, huh?
Take the shot.
You are taking shots right here. I guess I will take a quarterback. I want someone that's, I can play when one of my other guys are gone, and I will take, I'm going to go with, I'll go with Jameis.
He's a starting quarterback.
Yeah, he's a starting quarterback that, should put me up, shouldn't kill me in most weeks.
Next is Justin Ross and Jamal Williams off the board. So I think with this pick, You know what? Let's give JJ his due here. This guy's got speed, he says, so I'm going to have a little bit of faith in him. I didn't like the pick in the draft, but I'm picking in the 20th round now. So Bayless Jones from the Bears. Next up, Corey Davis, Terrace Marshall Pierce, Kirk Cousins, Tim Patrick, Julio Jones, Raheem Mostert, KJ Brown, Joshua Palmer for the Chargers. I like that pick. Nico Collins and Davis Mills again. So I am back on the clock here. I think I am going to go with. Let's stick with Will Fuller because I think he could potentially play for the Browns. Logan Thomas, Sony Michel, and that puts Ron Seymour back on the clock.
It sure does, and we're getting deep with it.
Well, it is Dynasty.
All right, I am going to take Brian Edwards for Atlanta that they just acquired.
It's a decent value this late.
And I will take... Oh, where was he? I'm going to take a shot. Someone I kind of like, I think could potentially have a good year. It's his second year with Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to take Amari Rodgers because we all know that Mr. Aaron Rodgers likes his familiarity with his receivers, so he could be good. If not, he's my 9th or 10th wide receiver, so it's not killing me. Like you said, we're in round 22 right now. So
I'm going to take running back Gray from the 49ers because the 49ers love to just round out random-ass running backs, and they drafted him. So why not take the shot on him in the 22nd round?
The same reason I took the other guy they drafted.
Yeah. Next, Kenyon Drake, Isaiah Pacheco, Ty Chandler, running back from Minnesota, could eventually be the backup there. Devontae Foreman, Brevin Jordan, who is a good tight end, and underrated Carson Wentz, who I can't stand. KJ Hamler, a favorite of Garbage Time Fantasy Football. Snoop Conner, just draft him off the name. Gerald Everett, AJ Green, Matt Ryan, and Ryan Tannehill putting me back on the clock. So, shit, we are diving deep. So, what am I going to take in this spot? I think I'm going to look at the value of the well, he could potentially still be a starter down the road. So we'll give Sam Howell a shot here. He was thought of as the number one quarterback at one point as of last summer and is not anymore. So, maybe he takes over that Washington Commander job. Probably not. But, we're deep. So let's see what we can do with it.
Well, I was thinking about taking Hayden Hurst here.
You don't want Daniel Jones in this spot?
No, I don't want Daniel Jones in the spot. I mean, I definitely think there's a place for him on the team. Not a team, but I don't think it would be this spot right here. You got people like, who is this? Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, I'll take him. Dearness Johnson from Cleveland. I mean, he got playing time last year. We only need one of the two running backs in front of him to go down with an injury, and then he'll get thrust into some sort of role. So it's good to have him on your bench. And then with my next pick, I will cry a little bit on the inside as I'm looking for these people. I'm going to go homerism here. And I'm going to take the tight end of the Giants drafted, Bellinger, and just have him on my thing just in case.
Yep, next off the board is Zach Moss, Keyshawn Vaughn. So now we are to me. That's nice that you said Dearness Johnson going down with one of these two makes him the starter, but he's got some competition there with Jerome Ford, another rookie they drafted there too. So don't think right away that he may. So I'm going to draft a rookie there. Next off the board, Kendrick Bourne, Jeremy Rucker, Austin Hooper, Kyle Phillips, Marvin Jones, Marquez Callaway, Mark Ingram, Kevin Harris, CJ Uzama, who is a starting tight end, and I'm excited for Paris Camber, Devin Duvernay, which is an insanely good talent, I think, in the 25th round because he's going to be on the opposite side and is now the burner for the Ravens. Next, Cade Otton. So I'm going to look at all the value here next, and, well, I guess I'll take Sammy Watkins here because he could be an early starter for the Green Bay Packers and he plays with Aaron Rodgers.
Fucking
But
Team 8, man.
But he'll probably be out by week 2. Team 8 blasts Ron Seymour by taking Abram Smith. Baker Mayfield's out the board, and now he is stuck with who he wants to pick. So where are we going, Ron Seymour?
I'm going to take a couple backup running backs here, I think. I'm going to take Matt Breida, who's now with the Giants, back up to Mr. Saquon. And if Saquon's wheels really did fall off, maybe Matt Breida ends up owning the backfield. I mean, who was it? Booker last year that actually looked better than Saquon on most times he was in on the field. And then I'm only in running back right now. That's not where you want to be. I will take. Well, I want a piece of the Cleveland offense.
You can find one this late?
Anthony Schwartz, man.
Okay.
He's a speedster. He could be used to take the top off. We know how much Deshaun Watson liked Will Fuller because of that. So Anthony Schwartz is the speedster on that team. So maybe he's the guy.
That's nice. Team 9 snipes me with Eno Benjamin, who I really fucking wanted in that.
I also thought about that too because I have James Conner.
Darrell Williams comes off the board. So now I have to dig real deep and figure out who I want to take. So let's see if there's anyone here with potential.
Daniel Jones, you're sitting right there, man.
I promise you I will not take him in my draft. That is not happening. I will probably go with Brooks out of Philadelphia. They like to run the ball. That was kind of their identity last year. So maybe he's a piece down the road I can go with there. Next is Jake Ferguson. Daniel Jones comes off the board. Finally, that just shows you how much he sucks. Braxton Berrios, Jared Goff, Mitch Trubisky, Marcus Mariota, who's currently a starter. Charlie Kolar, who is a decent name. Cedric Wilson, Jonnu Smith, Benny Snell, Jalen Wademeyer from Buffalo, and Moali Cox. So now I'm just going to look at the top overall value here. And I think I'm going to take... Man, it is not pretty on this board anymore. Not liking a lot of the stuff I see, so I think I'm going to go with Zay Jones out of Jacksonville. He's a decent slot guy, got speed, and who the hell knows who they're going to throw to there. So he's a decent value, I think. Next, James White and Bo Melton are off the board.
All right, I am going to go with... It's a good question.
What you got for us in the 27th round?
I'm going to take Samaje P. I'll take Randall Cobb just because him and Rodgers like each other. And I think I'll take, not that I like this pick very much, but round 28, I'm going to go Mike Davis. And if for some reason J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards aren't back, Mike Davis is the only other guy there in Baltimore, so give that a shot.
That is interesting. And just to piss Ron Seymour off,
you wasted a pick on Drew Brees. That's not pissing me off. You
in the 28th round.
Waste all the picks you want. I don't care.
Chigazium Onugwaku, Adam Troutman,
Zacchaeus.
Yep. Jalen Rager, Chris Evans, Isaiah Likely, Sterling Shepard, Britton Brown, Eric Uzakanama, Byron Pringle, Tommy Tremble, who was thought of to potentially be the third wide receiver there with Carolina. We'll see. Actually, he's a tight end. Could potentially be a starting tight end for them eventually. James Washington. So I am back on the clock for my last pick. I'll go with... Let's see here. Got to make it count, right? It's a super flex league, so I'll go back and pick Jordan Love. Could eventually be the starter there with the Packers. Not necessarily a great one, but it is super flex, so it's an important position.
All right, so
Quez Watkins and Antonio Brown come off the board. So Ron Seymour, who's the last pick, and Mr. Irrelevant of this Dynasty mock draft.
All right, I'm going to take a shot on Noah Gray, backup tight end for Kansas City.
Okay.
I like to have him on my Dynasty team because he could step into the Kelsey role should Kelsey get injured.
Okay. Do you want me to just list Ryan's team, my team, and then you can do yours real quick?
Sure.
All right, so for Ryan Warner's team, he decided that he did not want to go the super flex route, went running back heavy early, which is an interesting strategy. Jonathan Taylor, round 1, Breece Hall, A.J. Brown, George Kittle, Lamar Jackson, where he got decent value, Jerry Jeudy, Dak Prescott. So he got decent value later in this draft based on how it fell. Mike Williams, Pat Freiermuth, Hunter Henry, George Pickens, Michael Gallup, Trevor Lawrence, who is also a starter, Alec Pierce, Wan'Dale Robinson, Nakeem Hines, Hassan Haskins, J.D. McKissick, Kyron Williams, Kirk Cousins, KJ Ward, Dante Foreman, Gerald Everett, Kyle Phillips, C.J. Uzama, Jared Goff, Jonnu Smith, Jalen Reagor, and Eric Ezekunama. Definitely did not say that right. My team, right from the top, I got 2 young studs, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, then T. Higgins, Saquon Barkley, Drake London, A.J. Dillon, Elijah Moore, Rashad Bateman, Damian Pierce, Gabriel Davis, Justin Fields, Tyler Algiere, David Njoku, Cole Komet, Rondell Moore, Rob Gronkowski, Van Jefferson, Matt Corral, Marlon Mack, Bayless Jones, Will Fuller, Danny Gray, Sam Howell, Jerome Ford, Sammy Watkins, Kennedy Brooks, Zay Jones, Drew Brees to piss Ron off, and Jordan Love. Ron, who is on your team?
All right, I also went with 2 stud quarterbacks right away with Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Then I went with 2 wide receivers with Jalen Waddle, DK Metcalf, Zeke and James Conner, Jameson Williams and Sky Moore, Miles Sanders, Cortland Sutton, Isaiah Spiller, Trey McBride, Ronald Jones, Robert Woods, Darrell Henderson, Tyrion Davis-Price, Russell Gage, Jarvis Landry, Greg Dulcich, Jameis Winston, Brian Edwards, Amari Rogers, D'Ernest Johnson, Daniel Bellinger, Matt Breida, Anthony Schwartz, Randall Cobb, Mike Davis, Noah Gray.
Excellent.
I drafted 3 rookie tight ends.
But on a 29-man roster, why the hell not? Because it's right. Your Dynasty
Hopefully
team.
one of them does anything.
Ron, if you like the show, where can you find us?
Well, you can find us over on, I almost said Sleeper, that's not right, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. You can find us on Twitter at @garbage_timeff. You can find us Instagram at Garbage Time Fantasy Football. Right here on YouTube at Garbage Time Fantasy Football. Make sure you subscribe and like the video. Go to our website, www.garbagetimeff.com. You can leave us voicemails, hate mails. You can leave reviews over there. You can leave comments over there. Anything you want. And I believe that's it. Oh, Pandora. It's been a year.
Pandora.
I might as well mention that we can do it now.
It's all right that they're late to the it's all right that they're late to the show. At least they're here.
Yeah, exactly.
And with that, guys, let's get out of here. Have a great night and enjoy your Dynasty drafts coming up.